Good afternoon, everybody. It's a little bit dreary out here, kind of drizzling on me a little bit, but today I want to chat with you on some money-related issues. These are things that we kind of all face at some point. They usually start when we're young, and we kind of develop bad habits in how we manage our money, and that carries into being an adult when we have more responsibilities and more access to money. So it's something I definitely recommend to start with your kids, but even if you're an adult and you're struggling with saving money, this is something that I found lots of people really have a tough time with. And so the number one thing is how we perceive our money. The solution to so many things is like viewpoint and mindset a lot of times. And what happens in our money situation is we have certain things that we have to pay for. We have bills, and we have to kind of budget for those bills. These are things that are non-negotiable expenses that if we do not pay these things, we have serious consequences. And so as part of that, we strive to make more than what it's going to cost us to get through the month. That's how most of us view our money, as I have this many bills for the month and I'm trying to earn more than that each month. And so we come into a split with our money of here's my expenses and here's my income. And when we take out the amount of expenses that we have, what we're left is sort of expendable money that we can kind of play with a little bit and have a little bit more free reign as to where we spend that money. Most of it usually goes to food for most people, but that's an expense that is a little bit tougher to nail down as here's exactly how much it is. So where I'm going is when you're trying to save money, we have the amount of money that we earn and how much we are required to pay out every month, and then what's left over is usually where people try to save money. It's that extra money. It's the money that they have left over after they've paid their bills. And this is exactly where the problem arises from. And this is where people fail, is because they are not considering saving money as part of their expense budget. And this is what I found is the real trick. And so if, say you make $2,000 a month, and all of your bills for, utilities and rent and food and all that stuff is $1,500 a month. That means that you are spending 75% of your income. So most people would say, hey, I've still got 25% of my income left to play with, and I can do whatever I want with that money. But you also need to consider saving money. And so the recommended thing, if you listen to Dave Ramsey or anybody that's, financially based, they're going to tell you to never live on more than 90% of your income. That's the max that you should really be spending each month. And so if you take 10% that's left over as money that you need to be saving, you need to take $200 out of that $2,000 that you earn and put that away as part of your expenses every month. So if you get paid every other week, you're going to take $100 out of your paycheck, put it in a savings account, and that's your saving. Okay, now why we're saving and what we're doing with this, that's a bigger picture. And in most cases, if ever anything happened to you and you don't have a recurring income stream that doesn't require you to trade time for dollars, maybe you have an inheritance or an annuity, or you get Social Security or whatever it may be, where you get paid without regard, then it isn't as big of a deal. But if you have money that you earn every single month by putting in effort and putting in time and showing up and trading time for dollars, or goods for services, whatever it may be, like if that goes away, those bills don't go away. If you lose your income, you want to make sure that you're good, that you are safe and able to continue paying your bills for at least 3 months. The average person will probably take 3 months, sometimes less, to move from one position in a company to another company, or whatever you want to call it, get a new job, right? So the first step is to save enough money to have a 3-month reserve of what it would cost you to pay your bills every single month, right? So if your bills are $1,500 plus the $200 that you're saving, that's $1,700. So you need to have times 3. So you want $5,100 set aside in the bank before you really can consider yourself at a good point of saving. So 3 months of whatever your existing budget is sort of the baseline, okay? Now beyond that, if you consider debt and payments that go out to debt, there's a whole nother plan that goes along with that. In first, set up your saving. Second, go after the smallest amount and knock that out, because the money that you're paying on that small bill can then be applied towards the next smallest bill to get that knocked out. And then you can take those $2 amounts, put them towards the next smallest bill, and you can attack them a lot faster and get your debt paid down. But the real goal of this is to save money. And the only way to do that is to pay yourself first. So when you get paid, part of your expenses and part of your bills is to allocate money that has to come out before you consider any expendable income, even as part of the equation. You have a requirement to put money away, because if you don't, and you don't have that money, when the time comes that the economy turns and you lose your job just like everybody on the block, or automation, works so well that the position that you hold today is no longer needed tomorrow, or things that are completely out of your control a lot of times put you out of work and you don't know where your next dollar's coming from, and you're freaking out because I don't know how I'm going to continue to make money. But you have saved money over the last however long to get yourself to a point that you have a 3-month base and cushion. You're going to go through the next 3 months looking for a job from a different perspective, because you're not operating out of desperation that, oh my gosh, I have no money in the bank, but I got bills due tomorrow, and I just lost my job, and I have no idea how I'm going to put food on the table for my family, or keep lights on, or keep the water going so we can shower so I don't stink, so that when I try to go get a job interview, I actually look presentable like somebody they're going to hire. Okay, so take care of your basic needs first. Those have to be ensuring that everything on the baseline is good before you go after some of these bigger ventures of buying toys and having expendable income and going out on, lavish trips or, expensive meals or whatever it may be. Set yourself up for success. Because if you don't pay now with a little bit of money out of your pocket every single time you get paid, you're going to pay later when things go out of whack. And I promise things are going to change. Life happens very quickly, and it's going to affect you very fast and very hard if you're not ready for it. So these financial changes are very small and very easy to do, but you have to make them part of how you view your money. That saving is part of your expense budget. So try to implement this. See how it goes. Let me know. This is a very interesting concept that I've had quite a few people use. You can start it with children, having them take a percentage of the money that they earn and put that away that they don't touch. You can call it a college fund, if that makes it perceivable as money that doesn't get spent until, I'm out of high school and ready to do something big with that money. It's easy for kids because they don't have any expenses. So the other half of the money they get to play with, right? Their only expense is saving. But if you develop that habit as a child, and that becomes part of how you view your money, as part of it is set aside for safekeeping and for security for future unknowns, then when you become an adult and you start getting more access to money and you have that percentage set aside, that 10% or whatever it may be, that's just part of what you do. It's no big deal. I've got a savings because that's part of how I have money, right? So I appreciate you guys listening to this. Not a rocket scientist as far as how finances work, but this is something that you can apply to pretty much any situation and make sure that you have a good cushion. You're managing your money, because like I said, life is going to throw things at you that you aren't ready for and that you don't control. And so you want to make sure that you're controlling the factors that you have the ability to control. So thank you guys for hanging out, and we'll see you next time.